What's up? It's Ben from WOD Prep, and if you want to learn how to do this quickly, then this is the video for you. I'm going to teach you 6 steps that can help you learn double unders fast. I want you to be able to do 50 double unders unbroken on a consistent basis, and if you follow the 6 steps in this video, you will be well on your way. So if you're someone who's trying to learn double unders, this video is really going to help you out, whether you're trying to learn your very first or you're trying to get a bunch unbroken. There's a lot of stuff to cover, so let's get into it. The number one most important thing is get your own jump rope. It blows my mind how many people just rely on the gym that they go to. They pick up a rope off the shelf and they try double unders. It's changing size, it's changing weight, it's changing the way that it spins with its bearings. If you don't have your own rope, that would be like trying to learn how to drive, but every single time you went to practice driving, you're hopping in a new vehicle. One's a manual, one's a truck, one's an SUV, one's a sports car. It doesn't make any sense. Get your own jump rope, and I promise it's gonna help you out. A lot of people will get these cheap Amazon jump ropes. Yeah, they're cheap, and yeah, you can do a lot of double unders with these, but especially as a beginner, when your jump rope is a tangled mess, the cable's all frayed and chopped up, and it's this super lightweight, floppy cable, it's much harder to learn double unders, and also the bearings suck on them. It's much harder to learn double unders with a cheap Amazon rope or just a rope you're grabbing off the shelf from your local affiliate. Point number 2 is make sure that your jump rope is long enough. And for an overwhelming majority of people that I've worked with personally, like currently right now while we're filming this, I'm working with a bunch of athletes on Instagram in a little private coaching double under group. They're going through my double under course and I'm giving them direct video feedback. Every single person in the group needed a longer jump rope. I think what happens is people buy whatever the website suggests and they just immediately think, yep, that rope's fine for me. They like do some arbitrary like, yeah, okay, like it comes up to my chest, it's good. When in reality, oftentimes beginners that are trying to learn double unders, they have issues with hand lift and they also have the rope flippy floppy all over the place. Rather than trying to fix your hand positioning and make your double under form more perfect, a cheat code is simply to get a longer jump rope. The way that you know your jump rope is long enough is you should be able to hear the jump rope hitting the ground with each rotation. Here's what I mean, and I want you to listen carefully. Do you hear the rope clicking every single time I do a single under? A lot of people have that, but then as soon as they go to double unders, they lose contact. If you listen closely there, that rope didn't touch the ground, it actually just hit my foot. That was what you heard. What you need is a jump rope that's long enough for your hand positioning so that it sounds like this. Do you hear that tap, tap? Tap, 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 tap. Every rotation of that double under needs to hit the ground. The rope needs to make contact, and you should hear a tap, 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 tap every single time you're spinning that rope. If you don't, on your mission to buy a new jump rope, go with the size that's slightly longer than the one you're using now. Maybe even up to 6 or 8 inches longer than the one you're using now, if you're losing contact with the ground. For the most part, I find that athletes with a longer jump rope, even if it's too long for them, will have less trips than people who have a rope that's too short. I'd much rather you err on the side of, oh no, my jump rope's too long, rather than, oh no, my jump rope's too short. So err on the side of slightly larger. And if you do that and you can hear your rope clicking the ground every time, you're off to a great start. There are some few rare instances where people, when they're learning double unders, they use a rope that's way too long for them. Like maybe they hold the handles up and the handles are like up to here. And what can happen in that instance is if the rope's too long, it'll actually hit the ground and bounce back up and cause them to trip. That tends to be more rare. Just as a general rule of thumb, I'm an advanced double underer, and the rope goes to about my nipples, okay? If your rope goes to your nipples and you're not very good at double unders, your rope is way too short. I would ideally want that rope to be maybe chin level, even ear level in more extreme cases. Err on the side of longer rather than shorter, and I promise that's gonna help. Again, the way you know is by listening to your rope. If it's not contacting the ground, then you know it's probably too short. Step number 3 to learning double unders fast. So we've gotten the rope, it's long enough. However, when you're selecting the cables, a lot of times when people go to buy their first jump rope, they either buy the super cheap Amazon special that is very floppy, I guess you would say. No one likes anything that's floppy. The rope has a tendency to lose form when it spins around your body, and it's this cheap Amazon version, okay? But oftentimes, when people go to buy their first jump rope, if they're not on the Amazon special side, they go and they buy the world's most incredible jump rope. This is the RX Smart Gear Evo G2. It is my personal favorite. It is blazing fast. The bearings are incredible, but this is the Ferrari of jump ropes. Again, using my car analogy, would you want to learn how to drive a Ferrari as your first car? Yeah, I guess in theory it sounds fun, but it's very dangerous. It's not what you want. You don't want to start with a sports car. And a lot of people who buy their first jump rope, they treat themselves to a really advanced, uncoated, super fast cable, and that actually causes tripping because you're going too fast. You'll see over rotation. Basically, the margin for error is smaller when you have a truly fast speed rope. So I like to suggest that athletes go with, maybe not the minivan, but this is like a reliable pickup truck. It's slower, it's easier to maneuver, and it's way better for beginners. This is the RX Smart Gear custom fit jump rope with a 3.4 ounce buff cable. And I'll tell you why that's important. So number one, it's a slightly cheaper rope. And two, it's also a heavier rope. A heavier rope like this cable, 3.4 ounces. What it does is you can actually see as I'm just holding it here, it maintains its form really well. So it keeps that perfect U shape as it goes around your body. The super crazy fast speed ropes and then the cheap Amazon specials won't do that. You want a rope that has a cable that keeps its form well. Because this is a heavier jump rope, I can feel it in my hands as it's rotating around my body. And that feedback that a heavier rope gives you allows you to actually feel the rhythm. You can hear it click the ground a little bit louder, and it just makes you go a little on the slower side rather than really, really fast. When people are using super fast speed ropes, this was me. When I first started learning double unders, I got a really fast rope and I would be like this, and I'd trip. And the problem is I was almost doing triple unders. I was doing like 2.5 unders. And guess what? That 0.5 causes you to trip. So when I picked up a jump rope that had a heavier cable, maybe a little slower bearings, and it actually had some oomph, it had some feedback in my hands where I could feel it, it allows me to jump slower and more controlled and prevents me from going crazy, crazy fast, which is often the key to learning double unders. So if you wanted to pick up a rope like this one, you could go to rxsmartgear.com, get the custom fit. They have a whole bunch of fancy, cool colors and stuff like that. Use the code WODPREP20, you'll save a ton of money and you'll get a rope that's perfect for beginners learning double unders, and then you can always level up as you go and eventually upgrade to that super duper speed rope once you can do 40, 50, 60 plus unbroken. Then it might be time to upgrade from the slower jump rope to the faster one. But it's important to have the slower, heavier cable as a part of your learning strategy trying to learn double unders quickly. So the first 3 steps we talked about making sure that you got the right rope, because honestly, gear doesn't matter when it comes to a lot of things in CrossFit, but your jump rope really matters. Now it's time to move on to actually learning the movement and movement patterns. The first and most important thing that I want you to do as an athlete is stop doing 2-to-1 single unders in your workouts. Most of us, unfortunately, only practice double unders when we go to the gym and double unders are written on the whiteboard. You might get 5-10 minutes of practice and then your coach is like, all right guys, if you can't do double unders, just do 2-to-1 single unders. And unfortunately, for a lot of people watching that, they're like, okay, cool, I'll just do single unders and I'll get a good workout in. But if you're truly trying to practice double unders, you have to stop doing single unders and force yourself to do double under attempts, to even shave the reps in half. Maybe you can do some double unders, but you can't hit, let's say 50 in a workout that has multiple rounds. Take it from 50 and do 20 double unders. But more often than not, I see athletes that can't do a lot of double unders immediately say, oh, okay, I'll just do single unders. And the unfortunate thing is that single unders really don't carry over to double unders. Single unders, I don't have to jump. There's not as much coordination. It's just a different movement. So practice what you are trying to learn. Force yourself to actually attempt double unders, even if your double unders look like this, right? I would rather see you trying to accumulate those reps in a workout and do that more consistently than always say, oh, okay, I guess my double under practice is done. I'm just gonna do single unders. So eliminate the 2 to 1 single under scaling option from your vocabulary and try to practice double unders. Even if they are simply double under attempts, that is better than always defaulting to single unders. Number 5 is my favorite drill when it comes to teaching people the rhythm and the coordination involved for learning a double under. And what you need to do is put your rope down and practice penguin claps. Penguin claps are a drill where I jump in the air, and while I'm in the air, I clap my hips twice. That perfectly simulates the timing that you need to do double unders. When I do a double under, I spin the rope 1, 2 while I'm in the air. When you're doing penguin claps, those claps need to occur while you're in the air, and if you can actually get good at doing this, it's going to carry over to your double unders. Look at how similar this is. So if you get good at penguin claps, you will have a much higher potential to actually learn unbroken double unders. A lot of people mess up their penguin claps, unfortunately. They do this, they go, whatever that is. Make sure that when you're doing penguin claps, you jump high enough, so you're doing a big jump, and I want to see your arms actually move. 1, 2, rather than this. 1, 2. This isn't going to help you learn double unders, because last time I checked, unless you're really advanced, you can't spin a rope like this. What you need to do is spin the rope. 1, 2. So for penguin claps, I need you to actually move your arms. 1, 2. And if you get good at penguin claps, and you're actually clapping while you're in the air and not whatever that is, if you practice clapping while you're in the air and actually move your arms, and you learn that beat and that pattern, that is going to transition perfectly into actually learning those double unders. Last but not least, if you are trying to learn double unders, specifically unbroken double unders fast, I also want to challenge everyone out there that does this to stop. That is what I call single double hell, or single double purgatory. And so many athletes get their first double under, but they get in a habit of doing single double, or maybe single, 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 double, single, 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 double. Yes, that will help you accumulate reps of double under, so you're moving in the right direction. However, it is a very hard habit to break out of. If that's helping you get your first double unders, so be it. But don't allow yourself to do single doubles for longer than a month or so. I want you to very quickly try to move out of that and get into unbroken double unders, even if it's only 2 at a time. The problem with single double is basically people get their double and they get back to these little tiny, tiny jumps and they'll do a double and they just go back to these tiny jumps. And what happens is their double under, the way that they're doing it, whether it's a big pike or a big donkey kick or whatever they're doing, it's not setting them up for their next jump. So rather than allowing yourself to do single double, I want you to always practice 2 unbroken attempts at least. So it might look like this. Do a couple singles to warm up, and then it's 1, 2. Oh, I got 2. Amazing. Do that, and that's going to help you break out of the single double purgatory. If you get your own jump rope, if you make sure your rope is long enough, if you get a heavier cable, if you eliminate single unders, practice penguin claps, and try to get out of single double purgatory, you will see advancements quickly. Usually I suggest 15 to 20 minutes of practice 2 to 3 times per week on double under drills. And I know I've mentioned a bunch of different kinds of jump ropes in this video. If you want to get the exact ropes that I recommend, whether you're a beginner, intermediate, or advanced athlete, I will include links to the exact ropes that I'm suggesting in the description below. And if you use the code WODPREP20, you'll save a ton of money and get a really good rope that's going to help you level up and learn unbroken double unders fast. If you want a step-by-step training guide of exactly how to learn unbroken double unders using that framework, check the link below, join Double Under Pro. If you don't learn unbroken double unders, I literally will give you every penny back, guaranteed. And if you're looking for some free training, I'll also include a bunch of resources below. We have a lot of YouTube videos and some free training material to help you learn double under step by step. So with that, I'd love to hear what's the #1 thing you are going to take away from this video and apply to your training. Leave a comment below, let me know, and I will see you in next week's video.